every time you plant a seed, there is always going to be a harvest, good or bad. Every seed you plant, good or bad, there is going to be a return. Now, don't put your mind on it, especially those of you who are just in church. Oh, I sowed my seed. You don't give God condition. You don't give God criteria. You know, don't say, God, well, I'm going to give you this, so what are you going to give me back in return? Okay, I'm going to give you this, so I want this, that. No. You don't give God criteria. That's why he told Abraham, he said, I'm going to bless you. But before I bless you, I'm going to test you first. God will never bless you until he tests you with the little. So because all things that you have been doing, God will give it to you, but there is much more. He wants to see your attitude. Remember what we said? Your giving must be what? How right your attitude is in your giving will also attract God's blessings. Are you giving generously? Is it sacrificial? Is it your best? And so God told Abraham, he said to him, I will bless you with that son. So when God gave him that son, Abraham thought that was it. But he didn't know that there was much more that was tied down to his loin. And God said to him, that's your only son. Bring it to me and sacrifice him. Some of you be like, God, you're crazy. God, you must be out of your mind. I waited for this child. You were believing God for maybe $10,000. And God gave you $10,000. And he said, go put it in the altar at the church. How many of you would do that? Be honest. It's hard. You know why? Because the mind is presenting you with the now. The mind is presenting you with the now. But the spirit is presenting you with the future. Because the future is hidden from the now. So the now, the enemy say, remember those bills that you are owing, all those credit cards, they should go for it. How many of you know that God supernaturally can make some credit card be written off completely? It has happened to me. They just call and say, we forgave you. Whatever it is that you're owing, it's not going to be on your credit. It's bygone. It's happened. So God supernaturally can cause some things based on your sacrifices. I was talking to a lady one time and she told me God told her to do this and do that. And before she came to give the sacrifice, she started complaining. I said, hold your blessing. If you're already complaining, because there's not going to be any blessing for you. If you complain about the giving to the things of God, there's no harvest for you. There's no harvest for you. God first demonstrated and showed us as believers the importance of giving. God showed us that our giving should be the best and also sacrificial. God cannot bless you more if your giving is not the best or sacrificial. Giving can be in your time. Giving can be in your availability, your financial service or services. Whatever you give or do has a way of returning back to you. Luke 6:38. Now this is where I'm going to explain more to you on giving. We're still on giving. We have not even touched the other part. Luke 6:38. This is another very familiar scripture. It says what? Give. Everybody say give. Say it one more time. Give. Now it said give. And it will what? Be giving. Now, if you don't give, nothing will be given back to you. That's the principle. Now, this is not because you are born again. This is not because you speak in tongue. This is not because you've been a child of God since the day your mom gave birth to you. This principle here applies to everybody. Give and it will come back to you. Good what? Press what? Shaking together, running over, will be put into your lap. For with the measure you use, I want to hold on there. With the measure you use. I gave you an analogy one time. I think that was in the old church. Like this, for instance. He's talking about giving. and it will be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall be put on your lap. For with the same measure. Now, if God says to you to give $20 and you decided to give $5, don't expect any blessing bigger than $5. He's not a magician. Because what you gave, with the same thing you gave, is what is going to come back to you. It will be measured back to you the same way. That's why some people get blessed and some people are still. Because God cannot give the one that gave more and give them small, and give the one that gave small and give them big. No, the same measure that you gave is the same thing. Whether in your time, whether in your attitude, whether in your finances, whatever you give. The part that I love here, it says that it doesn't stop there, because King James Version says, shall men give back unto you. So your blessing is tied down to a man. Your blessing is tied down to what? A man. It says, over shall men give into your what? Bosom. Somebody has your blessing. See, God will not come down from heaven and just begin to shower you with dollar bills. No. There is what we call spiritual exchange. When you put your offering in the altar, and remember I said something on Thursday. I said it is important for you to know where you plant your seed. I'm explaining that to you. Where you plant your seed is important. Those of us that live here in America, we plant all kind of. How many of you have a yard that you plant something? Okay, I'll give you an example. I come from Africa. Our soil will pretty much take anything because our soil is very fertile, and most of our produce there is organic. We don't use chemicals at all. We plant banana, we plant yam, they grow. I'll give you an example of a tuber yam. There's something we call a yam. I don't know what they call it here. It's real big. It looks like cassava or something like that, but huge. You can't plant that here. If you bring it here and plant it in the American soil, it's going to die. You know why? Because the American soil is not fertile for it. There are some other things that if you take from here and take it back to the other country and plant it, it's not going to grow. It's going to die. You know why? Because seeds understand soil. Can I say that again? Seed understands soil. So you might say to me, oh, Pastor, this pastor here is a great man of God. I'm just going to plant my seed in their life. Your seed going to die. Because your seed is saying that this soil here is a dead ground. I'm going to be choked and dead. That's why our lives is going the same way. We are not reaping anything. We jump from here to there. Nothing is happening. We don't have no testimony because we have planted our seed in wrong places. Our time, our giving, our sacrifice, everything is in the wrong places. How do I know the right place? Test the spirit of the place. You got to test the spirit of the place. Before you plant, what do? You tilt the ground. You don't just throw your stuff in there. You tilt it. You know if the ground is a hard ground depending on what you want to plant. So spiritually, if you are spirit-filled, and that's what I teach in here, you test the atmosphere. You will know if the man of God is the real man of God or is the gymnastic man of God. We have all of them everywhere. The Bible called them smooth talkers. Okay? They are crafty in their way. They know the Bible. Okay? They know the Bible. But if you test within the spirit, if you have a spirit of discernment, just like Peter rebuked the one with the evil spirit in them, and they thought they were prophesying. I think it was Paul or Peter, one of them. And he said to them, you need to stop before I pray you out to die. You can't be planting your seed everywhere. It's not going to grow. I want to plant my seed where I know it will germinate. That God is pleased with the church. God is pleased with the pastor. God is pleased with the house. That's where I want to plant my seed. Whatever seed you collect, use it for what you say you're going to use it for. I don't get salary from here. I have my full-time job. I pay my tithe. My wife pays her tithe into the church as well. Apart from that, we do more when we give to people. That's what it should be. You need to test of every spirit.